Welcome to SportSource. I'm your host, Charlie Lacey. We've got a jam-packed show for you today, filled with incredible stories, in-depth analysis, and all the latest sports action from around the Athens and UGA area. Let's get started. We're diving into the Clark Central Gladiators flag football team. This team is on fire, leading the region with a perfect 3-0 record. Joining me now is SportSource reporter Kendall Johnson with more. Kendall, we are happy to have you in the studio with us. What insight can you share with us about this team's season?
Thanks, Charlie. We have an exciting look ahead at the Clark Central Flag Football's team upcoming playoff journey. In just their second season, the team finished with an impressive 11-6 record and made it all the way to the Sweet 16. This year, they've come back even stronger, currently sitting at 10-1 and leading the region. It's been an incredible journey, starting from their inaugural 4-6 season to now being a top contender. I had the chance to speak with head coach Pass about her vision, strategy, and how this program has achieved so much so quickly. So in just 3 seasons, Clark Central Flag Football has been able to grow into such a standout program, producing college-level athletes. What have you guys done to grow this team from being a 4-6 team in the first season to now being a 10-1 team?
Again, thank you all for doing this interview with us. We do appreciate it. So within the first year of being 4-6, Coach Taylor Pass, my husband, and I really spent time just sitting at our dining room table thinking about football and what football looked like, not necessarily flag football because we didn't really truly grasp the concept of it. And with what we knew then at first year, we ended up finishing 4-6, competing, but finishing 4-6. So then that second year, we took the time to do a summer league where we played against different schools throughout the summer. And with that progress, we ended up finishing 11-6, making a Sweet 16 appearance. And then this year, again, we've just been growing with what we're doing. So not only did we incorporate our summer league, we also did speed training with Coach Anthony Brown and Coach Chester Rucker from Cedar Shows. They're the track coaches there, and had our girls doing speed training on Monday, Wednesdays, getting faster, picking up endurance, getting more agile, just being better athletes as a whole. Not flag football players, but better athletes. And then with our 4-on-1s, we strategically planned groups that would work together and coexist together to make the most of that time. So we just been putting all these little puzzle pieces together to be where we're at now.
Lovely. And then just now going into regional play, what key strategies do you believe you guys are going to try to focus on to be successful throughout the playoffs?
So key strategies, we're definitely incorporating watching film study, understanding the game of our opponents. The years prior, we would just sort of show up on the field and play, not having no real game plan other than ourselves. Now we take the time to learn their personnel and do what we need to do as competitors with our opponents.
And then just as a coach of a team that's doing great on and off the field, what does it mean to guide a team that is paving the way for flag football to be known as a competitive sport?
We really strive to emphasize our character, our integrity, our values on and off the field. Like I said, my girls know that we're winning on the field, but we got to continue with winning in the building by how we move and how we coexist amongst one another. So I think Coach Pass and I really try to walk in a way that is a reflection that we don't only speak life and speak doing the little things, but also walking in that aspect by making choices that are going to be beneficial to ourselves as well as to our program.
Love that. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
With Coach Pass's leadership and a dedicated group of players, they're setting their sights on another playoff run and pushing for a spot in the state championship. We'll be following their journey closely, and we're wishing them the best of luck as they aim to make history. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Kendall. She's a leader and a force to be reckoned with. Stick around to meet the standout athlete behind Clark Central's incredible season. Welcome back to SportSource. We heard from the coach. Now let's get a player's perspective on Clark Central's amazing season. Joining me now with that is SportSource reporter Ellie English. Ellie, what can you share with us about your visit to Clark Central High School?
Yeah, Charlie. Ava Gossick, Clark Central's Athlete of the Week, is a star flag football player who helped her team bounce back from a tough first season to win 10 of 11 games this year. Let's hear what drives her.
What made you start playing flag football? I think I didn't really know much about it, but I came to preseason workouts because a bunch of my friends were doing it, so I didn't really know much going into it.
Okay. What is your greatest challenge as an athlete this far?
I think because it's such a new sport, like I used to play basketball and I've been playing basketball since I was pretty little. So learning like an entire new sport has been pretty difficult.
Okay. I know you're Athlete of the Week about 3 weeks ago now at Clark Central. What do you think are your biggest accomplishments?
I think maintaining my grades as an athlete, um, especially because Coach Pass expects a lot from us on and off the field. Um, so I think probably that.
Okay. How does it feel to be 4-6 in your first season and now 10-1 going into the playoffs?
I think it's really cool to see how far we've come in such like a short amount of time, and this season has just been like a big like almost like a reward for like all the work we put in.
After making it to the Sweet 16 last year and this year being the #1 ranked team in your division, how does it feel going into the playoffs, and what do you feel like as a team you've done differently?
I think we've been more confident this year and honestly way more locked in than we have been in the past. And I think that this year everything has just like clicked, and I think that's what's working.
Thank you.
Ava is laser focused on making her final season unforgettable. And with the playoffs just around the corner, we're excited to see just how far this team can go. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks for that, Ellie. We'll be back in a moment to break down another must-win game for Kirby Smart and Georgia football. Don't go away. Welcome back to SportSource. This week's must-see matchup, the UGA Bulldogs versus the UMass Minutemen. Coming off a win that significantly increased their playoff chances, the Bulldogs, now ranked number 10, are ready to dominate on home turf. Let's hear from SportSource analysts Blake Cavanez and Caden Klein. Caden, we'll start with you. What is the outlook for this game?
Yeah, Charlie, the Bulldogs are coming off of a huge 31-17 victory over Tennessee last weekend and will look to finish their season on a high note with some non-conference opponents. Carson Beck finally looked like himself again against Tennessee, scoring 2 touchdowns through the air and 1 on the ground. Georgia's defense also looked stout in the second half, allowing 0 points and holding Tennessee to only 167 passing yards throughout the game. There's no doubt UMass will have their hands full with this college football playoff-ready Georgia team.
Absolutely. And Blake, how's UMass looking coming into this game?
UMass enters this game reeling from a tough overtime loss to Liberty, dropping their record to 2-8. With the firing of head coach Don Brown and the promotion of offensive coordinator Shane Montgomery to interim head coach, the Minutemen are in a state of transition. Adding to the challenge, freshman quarterback A.J. Hairston will be making just his second career start after the loss of Tyson Pomachan 2 weeks ago. Expect the unexpected from this UMass team as they navigate these significant changes.
Yeah, Blake, seems like everything is going wrong for the Minutemen lately. But back to Georgia. Who's the key for them in this one, Caden?
It's going to boil down to the efficiency of Carson Beck. As we saw in the Tennessee game, the Dogs seem nearly unstoppable when Beck shows off his accuracy and minimizes his interceptions. But also keep an eye on Georgia's run game. With injuries to Trevor Etienne and Branson Robinson, Georgia's young running backs Nate Frazier and Chauncey Bowens will see more and more touches this Saturday. Frazier, who's only a true freshman, has stepped up in a huge way for the Dogs and has showcased why he's one of the best freshman backs in the country.
He's been a special talent for the Dogs this year, no doubt. Blake, what can UMass bring to the table?
UMass loves to run the ball, averaging a whopping 40.1 carries per game. It's a true team effort, with C.J. Hester's 400 rushing yards and Jalen John's 398 leading the charge. With quarterback Tyson Pomachan out, expect those two and Brandon Campbell to shoulder the load. However, Georgia has shown vulnerability against the run, giving up 152 yards on the ground last week. The key for UMass will be their offensive line's ability to create running lanes against a tough Georgia front.
Guys, obviously Georgia's a heavy favorite here. What are we thinking for score predictions?
Yeah, I've got the Dogs in a blowout, 48-10. The Minutemen have been struggling all year, and coming into Sanford is no easy task. I expect Kirby to prepare his team for a disciplined game against a weaker opponent and come out with a big win. Georgia's front seven will be too much for UMass's freshman quarterback to handle.
I'm going with Georgia 38-3. The combination of a new coach and a freshman quarterback for UMass will make it tough for them to keep pace with the Bulldogs. This game is the perfect opportunity for Georgia's offense to fine-tune their execution and build confidence. Don't be surprised to see some younger players like Gunnar Stockton or Jane Rashada to get some playing time in the fourth quarter, especially if Georgia builds a comfortable lead.
Thanks for the insight, Kaden and Blake. We can't wait for this Saturday. Stick around. We went through campus this week asking Dog fans a big question involving Kirby Smart's team. We'll be back with that after the break. Welcome back to SportSource. We asked UGA students who they think will play in the national championship. SportSource reporter Ella Sather joins us now with more on what they are saying. Ella, what can you share with us?
Well, Charlie, it's still anyone's game. Many UGA students are hoping the Bulldogs can overcome this tough season and make it to the national championship. Here's who students are thinking will compete in this year's game.
Two teams do you think will play in this year's national championship?
Girl, I really hope Georgia can come pull through and make it. I don't know for sure, though, because of how our ranking is right now. But you know what? We're going to stay positive. So Georgia. And second one, I don't know. I don't know why Texas is number 3. Maybe Ohio State. We'll go with that one. Ohio State and Georgia.
And what two teams do you think will play in this year's national championship?
I mean, gotta go with Georgia Bulldogs, of course. Other team, Oregon's looking decent. Kind of weak schedule. Personally, I think it's going to be Bama, Georgia, SEC matchup, and I think Georgia's going to go with it, win the national championship.
What two teams do you think will play in this year's national championship?
Ohio State and Texas.
Why?
I mean, I want Georgia. I just want to put that out there, but only because I think they're, like out of the teams that are going to make the playoffs, they'll have the best road to get there because I think they'll come in at highest seeds.
What two teams do you think will play in this year's national championship?
Georgia and I don't know, honestly. I can't really tell you. Let's say Georgia and just say Oregon.
And Oregon? And who do you think will win?
Georgia.
Okay.
While some students still have the Bulldogs playing in the national championship, others have listed a few other schools in the running. Whether the Bulldogs are able to make it or not is yet to be determined, but it's great to see the Dogs are still ready to show up. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Ella. It appears UGA students are still hopeful for the Dogs to make it to the finish line. And that's SportSource for today. Many thanks to our team of reporters and analysts. Have a great weekend.